Okay, so again, today's session is on tips and tricks for using Microsoft Outlook Calendar. The session is being recorded, just like all of our other sessions. That will always be housed on the website, so you can always go back for reference if you need to. I'm going to go over a lot of things. Again, in 20 minutes, it's going to go very quick as always. So if I talk too fast or you need me to slow down or repeat something, please throw it in the chat. I can either repeat or ask and answer those questions at the end, or I can go back and review. But I want to try and get through as much of this as possible because all these bullet points are actually really important for you to see. So, okay, let's get started with how we access Microsoft Calendar. So currently, there's two versions. I'm going to say the desktop application version, which is through your Outlook application, which you're seeing now on your screen, or the web version, which I'll show you in a second. But if any of you have ventured off into trying the new Outlook, which you may have seen the toggle switch up on the top right of your Outlook application, that's the third version I want to show you quickly because I'm going to say unfortunately, we do have to start to get used to that new Outlook version because that will be the default version by the end of the year, they're saying, beginning of January 2024. That version looks very similar and feels very similar to the web version. So I definitely want people to, just start playing with it and get some experience in using that. So let's get started with that. Right now, you're looking at the desktop application, Outlook Calendar. Okay. And then you also have the web version, which I'm going to pull up here. And again, to get to the web version, you're going to go to portal.office.com. That brings you to kind of your dashboard or your hub for all Microsoft 365. And then on the left-hand side, you can either click Outlook, or if you go into the All Apps section, you can click Calendar there. So up to you which way you want to go in. But this is what the Outlook web version calendar looks like. So again, a little bit different than the application, the desktop application, but all synced and has the same information that it would have on the desktop app. So these are the different versions. And then finally, I do want to show you, this is the new Outlook. As you can see on the top right over here, I have it turned on. So this is what my new Outlook version, desktop version of the calendar would look like. So you definitely can see that it's almost identical to the application, to the web version. And so you definitely want to start to get used to both kind of feel for it. All right, so that's that. If you have any questions about those three different versions, please throw that in the chat or hold it to the end. I'll definitely get through some of that. All right, first thing, and I'm going to go back to the regular desktop application because I know most of you, most of our staff here is very comfortable with this. Most of us use it. So I'm going to kind of do a lot of the settings and tips and tricks through this. And then if you have questions about where those same things could be found in the web application, just let me know. So first thing you want to do is set your work hours and location. So if we go to File and then Account Settings, nope, I'm lying. I am not doing this in here because I like the web version, and that is where I did this before. So I'm going to go back to the web version. And then I'm going to go to Settings. And in the web version, if you search Outlook settings, which is the gear icon on the top right, and just type in I just saw it, work hours and location, it'll pop right up. I don't even have to type the whole word. I just typed in WO. I could do the same thing in the desktop application in the search bar. I could type work hours and locations and it would pull it up for me there as well. Let me do that. Work hours. I have to do that in my profile. Oop, I don't want to do that. I'm going to do it in the web version because I know it's just an easier setting there. So I want to show it to you there. I don't want to take too long to do this. Work hours and locations. So here, you could set your days of the week, and then your set hours. And then this is kind of a new feature that's coming out, so I do recommend you kind of playing with it. And you could set whether you're going to be in the office or remote that day. If you set it this way, this will be set for the week. So, for example, if you are always remote on a Friday and in the office the rest of the days, and that's a consistent kind of schedule, then you can set it this way and it will be like that. And I'll show you what that looks like. It'll come up. If you look on my calendar here, you can see the little icons that come up on the top right here. So here you can see I was remote, and here you can see I was in the office. So if your schedule changes week to week, don't set your location in the settings. Do it directly on the calendar right here. So for example, if I click this little plus sign, I could set it right here. So I know this day I'm going to be remote. Yep.
Nope. Nope. I was just going to guide you to where those settings are in the desktop app when you're ready.
Okay. Yep. I'll go back. So you could just click here and change that. So let's go back. And again, this isn't something you have to feel obligated to do all the time, but the way that Microsoft is kind of moving in the direction that they're moving, we do encourage you to play with these kind of new tools that are coming out because all of the features of Microsoft 365 are kind of going to all be intertwined, and things like this are going to make more sense as we kind of move down the line. I just realized I wanted to be out of this and go back. That popped me into the wrong account. So give me 1 second. And then Cliff, I'm going to go back to 142942.
Ready when you are.
Yep. I just wanted to get back into the training account because it flipped me out. All right, there we go.
Okay.
So open
So
up.
if you go to the desktop, go to File, and then on the bottom Options, and then click on the calendar on the left.
Yeah, there
and
it is.
that's where you can set your start times, end times, days of the week, etc.
However, you'll notice here they do not have the location option, which I find interesting. And you'll also notice in the application here, that little icon is also not here. But if we go to, if this is the new Outlook, it is here. So you could see, again, that's the direction that they're moving. So they're not pushing too many new updates to their current desktop application because they're really working on building this new Outlook. So those settings are there for you. Okay, next thing up, and I'm going to go back to the regular version. You can see here I have calendar, onboarding, tech training, and Nassau BOCES. So this first calendar is my automatically created a calendar for my account. The next two are ones that I've either added or created. Right now I have the setting as them being overlaid, which means I can see all the events on 3 calendars on top of each other. So in other words, if I click into one day, I am seeing the events for each calendar on that one day because I have them overlaid. That's an option that you have, but you do not have to do that all the time. If you want them popped out so you could see the events separately, you just click that little icon arrow and it actually will pop out the calendar and then you'll see the events side by side. So I'm going to put it back by clicking the arrow, which made it overlay, and I'll do it with the Nassau BOCES one now. And you could see I can have that separate. But again, I like all my events on one calendar, which means they're overlaid. So I just keep it together like that. So that's an option, but I wanted to show you how to add the Nassau BOCES calendar to your calendar if it's something that you think would be beneficial to you so you can have all those events on your personal work calendar. So first thing you have to do, and I'll throw this link in the chat, is you're going to go to this part of our website. Copy. Oops, sorry about that. Why am I not getting back to you guys? There we go. Chat. Here's the link. And you're going to copy this link here under where it says iCal feed that says copy link. So you want to click that button and it's going to copy the link. It'll say copied. Then you're going to go back to your calendar. and then you are going to go to the Home tab in your calendar, and then where it says Add Calendar, click there, and then From Internet. And you're just going to paste that link that you just copied, and then click OK. And I'm not going to do it because I already have it here, but as you can see, it'll just add it. And you choose if you want that overlaid or not. That would be how you add your Nessa Bosse's calendar into your Outlook calendar. Again, the search bar is across all 365 applications. It's a really, really strong tool. You can always use that search bar up at the top of the calendar as well. And if you want to drill down into specific settings of what you're searching for, you have the option if you just click that drop down arrow. You could really drill down if you're searching for something specific there. All right, yeah, I got through the whole first section. Moving on. Okay, best practices. So this is really important. Keeping your calendar current is definitely something you want to do. What that means is if you have scheduled meetings, focus time, lunch break, any of those type of things, keep your calendar up to date because it does help in all other aspects. So if somebody is trying to schedule a meeting with you, they're going to be checking your availability on your calendar. And if your calendar is not up to date, they wouldn't know if you were going to be free or not. So definitely best practice to keep your calendar current with your events and your work schedule for the day. Okay, there's a bunch of different views that you can access when you're in your calendar. So if you click the View tab at the top, there's the Day view, which will just give you what is going on for that day. There is the Work Week view. There is the Week view, the Month view, which is my personal favorite, and the Schedule view. Now, again, if you do the Schedule view, you can see on the left-hand side here that the 3 calendars that are overlaid into my calendar or that are in my calendar settings, I see them separately here. And it kind of goes across as opposed to on top of each other. So again, just depending on the way that you like to view things, you can change your view in the View tab here. You can also, going back to the month view, 1 second. You can also see some days at a glance. This, I think, is a really strong feature in the calendar. If you pop out the navigation bar on the left-hand side, and some of you may have this pinned out already. Some of you have it hidden. I personally have mine hidden, but if you pop it out, it brings up a whole month, the next few months. But if you drag it out, this gets a little wonky. You have to get your mouse to kind of hit the edge. Once you get the arrow, the double arrow, you could pull this out. And now it shows you more months, right? And you can also do that with the bottom bar. So you can drag this up and down as well. Just again, to be able to see more months or kind of the view that you want to see, which is a really nice feature. And then with that, you can choose different days to view at a time. So it'll default to show you the month view if you're in your month view setting. But say I want to see what my schedule looks like on every Thursday for the next 2 months. If you click Thursday, count like the 15th, and then you hold down the shift key, and then you keep clicking. Oops, sorry about that. Is it not working for me? Oh, sorry about that. I'm clicking the caps button. That's what happens when you don't look down. I'm sorry, it's the control key. So if I click the 15th and then the 22nd and then the 20, nope, I want to click the 3rd and the 10th and the 17th. I am now choosing those Thursdays and I want to see what that looks like on my calendar. So now I'm saying Thursdays in the view. I could look at all my Thursdays. I could look at 2 weeks at a time if you want, just by using that feature. It's definitely helpful to see things at a glance that way. All right, let's go back to my month view. All right. So again, you probably have multiple calendars in your calendar application. My calendar is always going to be your default and then your other calendar. So if you look underneath where we just were in that navigation bar, again, this is a little wonky when you try and grab the edges. Gotta love it. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to pull this back up. So here would be where your other calendars are. So you can see here, I have which calendars I have shared with me. I have group calendars, and your default calendar is always going to be underneath the heading My Calendars. And again, any of these calendars that are checked off are the ones you're going to see on your screen. So if they're not checked off, you're not seeing the events for those calendars. So just make sure that you know what you are supposed to be seeing or not seeing by just double checking this area. This is a great feature too. You do have the option to um, your team, which this is all on the back end. You can see kind of your department's calendars, depending on the settings that they have set for you. So I know a lot of you use room calendars. This is another great way to be able to see if a room is available or not at a glance. So that's the difference between my calendars and shared calendars or group calendars. All right, shared calendars is up next. So again, in order to share a calendar, now if you want to share your calendar, you go to share calendars. I am in the home tab and I go to share calendars. And that, again, that first one that you see is your default calendar. So if I click that, this gives me the option here to share my calendar with specific permissions to whoever I'd like to share my calendar with. So if you need to share your calendar with a person in another department and you want them to be able to just say, see all the details, or maybe just when you're busy or not busy, you choose that. And you add the person by clicking the add button and searching for their name here. Then you choose the permissions and you click OK. And now that person would see your calendar in the list of shared calendars. Room calendars. So if you go to add calendar here, and then from a room list, ooh, there we go. You can see here all of the different room calendars that are available in our organization. You could search specifically, and then you can add those calendars just like I have here. And then if you need to see if a room is available at a glance, you could just check that off. And now I can see that room and when it's booked and when it's not at a glance. So that's another really important feature. Appointment versus meeting. Oh my goodness, this time flies. How is it 12:50? Okay, I'm gonna go really fast. Again, I want to be respectful of everybody's time. So if there is anyone that has to leave at 1 and you have questions, please throw them in the chat and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going and you're more than welcome to stay as long as you want. Okay. Appointment versus meeting. So why is my appointment not showing up? That's interesting. Hmm. Okay. Gotta love it. Let's see if the web version does it any different. So interesting. Okay. Watch Microsoft change something on me right as I was starting a training because, that would be something they would probably do. Right. I'm going to go back. Yep. So normally you have the option for a new appointment or a new meeting, which I actually tested today and I had the option for. So gotta love it. Let me see if I click out of here and go back in. Let's try that. There it is. Woo! Okay. When in doubt, refresh, close out, reopen, restart at all times. The best advice. Okay. So new meeting, a new appointment versus a new meeting. So a new appointment, if you're creating an event on your calendar or any calendar that does not necessarily need a room location or a Teams meeting, you could just create it as a new appointment. If you need to create a new meeting that is going to include others and potentially a room location or a Teams meeting, you want to create it as a new meeting. That's really the difference. And really, if you create a new appointment and then want to add a Teams meeting or any of those things in after, you totally can do that as well. Okay, reminders. I'm going to go to new appointment. Nope. Fine. I didn't want to go to new appointment. But there we go. So if you have an event on your calendar that you definitely want to make sure that you're getting reminders for, and you didn't set that when you created the appointment, or if somebody else put the calendar appointment on and you wanted to make sure that you get reminders for that appointment coming up, if you just click into the event at the top of your screen, you have the option here to set a reminder. So right now, this event that I just clicked on has no reminder. So if I do the drop down, I can set that. I can set when I want to be reminded for that event. And the other thing you can do is change what you're shown as in your calendar. So if it defaulted to show you as free and you were like, oh, no, I can't be free, you can always change that. If you click the drop down, you can then say, that event I am busy on my calendar. So just make sure that you keep an eye out for how your event on your calendar is being shown. Because again, keeping your calendar current and up to date revolves around what you're shown as in your calendar. Thanks, Cliff.
Okay, thanks. Just wanted to let you know I have to jump.
Sorry, I'm being attacked by a fly. Yes, no
Cool.
problem.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, next up, scheduling assistant. So if I create a new meeting and I need to add people that need to attend that meeting. So again, I'm just going to throw some people's name into the required section here. And now I need to know when these people are available. On the top next to where it says meeting, you click scheduling assistant. This is one of my favorite tools. You also can add a room here as well as a resource. So if I start to type in the lab, sorry, let me go back real quick. So I can add a room. Let's say I want to add this one. Okay. So now I get to see if the people that I need in this meeting and the room I need for this meeting are available and when. And you could take this bar and you can drag it across. You can make it bigger. You can click wherever you need to go. And then you just go back to your meeting tab, continue the body of the meeting, and then send. Scheduling Assistant is really, really great. All right, now we're up to color. I don't want to save this. Don't save changes. Okay. So you can see here I have my calendars and they're 3 different colors. My default calendar is like a teal. My onboarding training calendar is pink. And the Nassau BOCES calendar is yellow. I set this on how I want it to look on my calendar by just right-clicking on that tab and then scroll down to color. And here's where you can choose the color of each one of your calendars that you have displayed. The other thing I wanted to show you is if you are in your ribbon and you right click on any of the icons, you can add that icon to your quick access toolbar. You can customize your ribbon this way. So this is another really strong feature. And if you do use the quick access toolbar, this is the easiest way to get your buttons on there by just right clicking on any one of the icons, and you can add it that way. Okay, quickly, somebody, I can't remember off the top of my head, and I don't know if they actually came to the meeting, but I did look through some of the comments when you register on what you wanted to go over. Somebody had asked if there was a way to spell check when you are doing an appointment or setting an appointment in your calendar. So again, I'm creating an event. If I go to the review tab, right here you see spelling and grammar. So you can definitely spell check when you're creating an event in your calendar. I hope that answered the question for the person who had that question. I don't know if they're in the meeting, but I will send the recording, so hopefully they get that answer. All right, another great little tool that I kind of uncovered that I wanted to share with everybody is called Outlook Today. I don't know if anybody's ever seen this, but if we are in, I'm going to go back to my mail app 1 second. If you are looking at your email addresses here and you just click on your name or your email address, which I just did right here, it pops up what they call Outlook Today, which I think really is such a nice little kind of view dashboard. It gives you your calendar events for the next few days. It gives you your tasks and your messages in your inbox, your outbox, and any other email addresses you may have synced into Outlook. This to me is such a cool feature. I don't think a lot of people know about, so I always like to show it, and you can customize it. So if you click Customize Outlook Today, you have some options here of what you want shown in your Outlook. What I actually did is I added the Outlook Today in my quick access toolbar. So if I'm in my calendar or I'm in another application and I want to quickly look at my Outlook Today view, I have it in my quick access toolbar and I could just click it and it brings me right to that. So another great strong feature. Sorry, I'm just going to stop real quick for some water I'm getting. Conditional formatting. You can conditional format your email, but you can also conditional format your calendar. So if you go to the View tab and then View Settings, just like you would if you were in your email, and then click Conditional Formatting, here is where you can set conditional formats for how your calendar looks for certain scenarios. So for example, I created a conditional format for any time Cliff puts something on my calendar since he's my supervisor, that is going to show up in red on my calendar automatically. So you can add or delete these conditional formats as you see fit, and you can go into condition here and really specify what that means when you set those conditions. And if this is something you like and really want to get, working and you're just kind of confused on how to set it up, please schedule an appointment with me. And that goes for anything actually in this whole webinar because it is going over time and I'm going very fast. So if you want a little bit more in-depth training on any of these features, please book time with me and we'll go over it. So again, you can use conditional formatting on your calendar. Categorize. As you can see, my calendar is very colorful. That is because I use categories. So if you're in the Home tab, I'm gonna go back to my mail app real quick, just so you know what I mean when I say categorize. I'm just gonna go to my inbox, click on something. So once you click on an email, there's that categorize option. It always has the 4 squares. The default categories are gonna be your rainbow colors, and it's gonna say red, orange, yellow, green. You can change all of that. You can pick colors different and you can set that however you want. I really love categorizing because you can do that in your email. So you can categorize your emails and your calendar. So you can see here from back in my calendar, if I right click on what the tech, for example, it's already this light purple because as you can see, my category for my what the tech trainings is purple. So that's why when I set it in my calendar, I automatically categorize it. So this way it comes up on my calendar as this color. Why this comes in handy is because, for example, in your email or on your calendar, if I want to search by category, I can. You could see here I have the categories in my quick access toolbar. If I pull this down and I click what the tech, anything that is on my calendar comes up by that category color. You could see the color is here. And if I do that in mail and I go to categories and I click what the tech, anything I labeled or categorized as what the tech, which is all my what the tech emails that go out, you can see they all show up in my in that search now. So again, just like little things that can really help your kind of workflow and your ability to kind of stay organized. Okay. Also, if you want to start playing with categories and you have some items on your calendar that are not categorized yet, you can always right click on that event and I'm sorry, that was the Nassau BOCES calendar, so I can't. Let me go back to this. So let's do this one, right? If I right click on an event that I put on my calendar, I can not only change the show as that way, but I can also categorize it that way right there. So that's a nice little tool. Okay, dictate. I love this. This is seriously one of my favorite tools across Microsoft 365. So if I am in my calendar and I go to new appointment and I am doing a million different things, as we all do, and I can't use my hands to type because maybe I'm doing something else with my hands, but I don't want to forget what the body of this message has to be. If I turn on dictate, it's going to use my voice to type out everything that I'm saying. And this way I can just send this email or this event very quickly without having to type a thing. When you're done, you click the little microphone, it turns it off. And I could have added my title, which again, I can dictate. Very important event, exclamation point. And I could just click save and close and I'm done. I didn't even type a thing. So dictate, awesome. You also always have immersive reader, which I've gone over a bunch of times. So if you want to hear what you typed out, you can turn on immersive reader. Okay. Let's delete that. I'm going to go to the web version real quick. I want to show you. In the web version, for me, some things do work a little bit better than they would in the desktop app. So, for example, something like duplicating an event. If I have an event that I want to now duplicate all of the same settings on, I don't want to have to redo it. I can do it so much faster in the web version by just, I don't think I have anything on here. I'm going to go into my personal one real quick because I want you guys to see what that looks like. There we go. So for example, this event right here, which is on today. If I want to duplicate this event, meaning that I need to keep all of the same settings, the people who are in it, the time, all that, the title. If I just right click on that event, I can click duplicate event. It pulls it up exactly how it was set. And now I can make some edits. Maybe I need to duplicate it to be on another day as well. It doesn't remove it from the original day. It just duplicates it and puts it on a new day. Maybe I need to duplicate it and add another attendee, but this is such a quick way to duplicate an event that's on your calendar. So again, the web version does that very well. Okay. And last thing, schedule a meeting from an email. This is, again, one of my favorite features. So let's go back to the web. Sorry, back to the app. So if I am in my email and I need to schedule, so this email came in and I need to schedule an appointment from this email with the people in the email. And I want the body of the email too. So I remember when it's on my calendar what this meeting was for. All you have to do, if you're in the desktop app, is take the email, hold, click, drag, and hover over the calendar app on the left side. Let it go. It immediately opens up an calendar invite, right? And now you can set it. If you need to make it a Teams meeting, you can. If you need to invite attendees, you can. You choose what you're shown as, all of those same things. But the best part is that it pulled all of the email contents into this meeting. So this to me is just such an awesome feature because there's so many times that a meeting is scheduled through kind of an email back and forth, and I need the contents of the email in my calendar so I remember what I need to prepare for. If you want to do this in the web version, it's a little bit different. Again, that's why I like to show people both ways. So I'm in the web version now. Oops. All right, 1 second. So I'm in the web version now. If I want to do the same thing, so I'm going to click on this email, and then I'm going to come over to the 3 dots in the email, and then where it says other reply actions, you'll see reply all by meeting. But what that's going to do is the same thing it did in the desktop application. It pulled in the people in the email. This specific email did not have a subject, so that's why you only see that. But now I can schedule this meeting with the contents of the email directly in there. Great, great tool. And tap, I'm out. I finished everything. Yay. Only 8 minutes passed. But give me a minute. I'm going to open up cameras and mics. So this way, if you guys want to. Thanks, Maureen. All right, give me 1 second. I'm just going to allow your mics, allow your cameras. Okay, that's saved. Okay, if you want to unmute or turn your camera on, if you do not want to, do not feel obligated to. But if you want to ask a question or anything you want me to go over again, please do. I'm just going to check the chat one more time, see if any questions came up. I know, Maureen, like dragging the email to create a calendar invite to me is like, whew, life-changing. So it's nice to know we could do that in both the web and the desktop app. What else? Let's go back here. Yep. So you guys let me know if there's anything else you want me to review, go over, have questions about. If not, again, I'm here. I know I went over time. I apologize. I just wanted to get all of this information in. Next webinar is 7/19. That's going to be on Microsoft Forms. Again, the goal of these webinars for now is to just get the basis of all of the tools that we use, kind of like the best practices, the key features, the tips and tricks. And then eventually we'll go into just these webinars being very specific on very specific skills and tasks and tips and tricks like that. So thanks, Kim. So just keep spreading the word about the webinars too. I'd appreciate that. Just letting everyone know they are monthly and to register. And I will send a follow-up email to you all with the little feedback form, and the recording will be posted. Usually it gets posted within 24 hours on the website if you need to review that recording. And that's pretty much it. But thank you all so much. Have a great afternoon. And like I said, I'll hang out here until everybody logs out in case you want to ask a last minute question. Samantha, are you still on? Yes. Okay. How did you do Outlook today? Sure. Let's go back to that. So if you're in the, I did not find, just so you know, if you use the web version, I haven't seen it in the web version. I don't think, did I see it? I don't think I saw it in the web version. I think it's only in the desktop application. Yeah, I just wanted to double check that. So if you're in your desktop application of Outlook, and then where you see this list of your email, where you would see your email address, you click on your email address, it'll pop you into Microsoft Outlook today automatically. And then at the bottom, you should see something that says Customize Outlook today. And then you can choose what you want to see and how you want it to look. I kind of wish Microsoft would give us some more features here because I actually think this is a cool way to see kind of your day at a glance. But this is kind of what they give us, not really much, but great feature, great tool. And then, like I said, what I did is I added the button to my quick access toolbar. So I didn't have to actually go and click my email address to get to it every single time. I added it here. So for example, if I'm in calendar, if I'm over here in people, if I'm somewhere else, I could always just click Outlook today in my quick access toolbar and it brings me right back. I hope that answered your question, but if you're having trouble in any way, let me know and we can go over it again. Okay, good. I'm glad. Yeah. And again, adding it to your quick access toolbar. Normally your quick access toolbar, if you don't use it or haven't touched it, would be on the top of the ribbon. I move mine to the bottom. You do that by clicking that drop down box in your quick access toolbar, and then you can choose where to move it. But then you can also choose to add the Outlook today by going to more commands and just searching Outlook today. It wouldn't be in popular commands. It would be in all commands, and then it's in alphabetical order. And Outlook today is here. So I already have mine added, but you would click it, you would click add, and then okay. And then you would see that button there. So you can always access it. Thanks, Joanne. No problem, Samantha. Kim, Jessica, let me know if you guys have any questions.